Hello, this is Ep15, and welcome back to Ars Nouveau. Behind me, you can see that I've been doing a little bit of work with trying to figure out what I want to do for the actual build for our base, but that's actually not our project for today. Today, we have a very special project. So we're kind of, unfortunately, approaching the not quite end, but close to it for this server. Basically with 1.21 coming around. I know Bailey's been working really hard on updating Ars Nouveau for 1.21. And so whenever that comes and we're able to actually update, we will probably shut down this server and switch over to a new one in 1.21. So what a lot of people are doing right now is honestly a lot of useless projects. Projects we don't need, but sounded fun. So Xacris has been online a lot lately. We've been doing some building around here with connecting our bases. So we've got some pathways here connecting up. He's been doing some work on his base itself up here, looking good. And we've been working on building up our base. I've got a little dome around the falling tower ritual from blood magic. But right here we have an arcane pedestal with a wither farm control room. Now note that this is not saying wither skeleton farm. This is a wither farm. Do we need it? No. Do I need beacons? No. Do I need nether stars? No, I already have one Archmage book. I don't need another. But we had a user on Discord the other day who posted a thing saying, hey, how can I farm the wither? Because you can't just stick a wither in a containment jar and have Drigmews harvest from it. You can stick it in a jar. That's not the problem. The thing, and similar with the Chimera here, they don't actually have their main drop as a drop in the loot table. Instead, what they have is nothing. Yeah, it's not considered a drop. It is spawned on death. All that to say is if we want to get a completely useless amount of nether stars, we need to design an actual farm for it. So here we are in the nether. Two little portals here. This one goes to Xacris' base. This one goes to my base. If we go into Cheaty Cam and fly up, we have a nice little floor here. Cool. But above us, we have whole bunch of wither roses. Xacris has been busy getting a bunch of wither roses. I think Waveclaw is also helping out here. Yeah, we have this. This exists. Currently, nothing's happening because there are... I don't know where he put the Megatorch. Where's your Megatorch? So Megatorches basically block very large areas, 64 radius cube, which is then a 129 by 129. Very large area. So we've got a few of those around that are blocking spawns, protecting everything here, and there's one, here, that if I were to break that, we would suddenly get a lot of wither skeletons spawning here, because nothing else is spawnable. This area is not just middle of nowhere, it is specifically part of another fortress. It's a intersection, or it used to be before we tore it out. So we have parts to building our wither farm. And again, wither farm, not wither skeleton. Wither skeletons are of course part of it, but we want to set up the entire automation. Everything from getting soul sand, generating soul sand on our own here, wither skeletons obviously, summoning the wither, and killing the wither. All completely automated, and this down here, as the warp implied, is a control room down here. We're going to be building basically everything we need so that we can just sit here and see how fast we can get nether stars. Because, again, we don't need it, but it sounds like a fun thing to do. So with this farm, one of the kind of self-imposed requirements, at least that I was voting for, is that it is fully vanilla Ars. So there are certain things that we can do with various add-ons, such as we can use Conjure Terrain to create sand, stuff like that. But instead, I wanted to see if we could do this with just two things, Ars Nouveau and vanilla. That's it. And I think we can do it. So let's kind of go over the list of things that we need. We need soul sand and wither skeletons, right? So wither skeletons, those are being handled. They exist. Soul sand. How do we get soul sand? Well, with that, you can get sand as well as conjuration essence. Conjuration essence, that's easy enough. That's going to require, this stuff just sits there, so it's not being consumed. We need source gems. Source gems need amethyst. So we're going to need an amethyst golem. We're going to turn it into source gems. Turn those source gems into conjuration essence. Conjuration essence with the sand gets us soul sand. How do we get sand if we can't get conjure terrain? Well, we can make some cobblestone here in the nether. Not a vanilla generator, because normally in vanilla you need water and lava. We've got the lava, that's no problem, but we can't get water. What we can do, however, is we can cast a freeze spell. So just a touch freeze on a spell turret will turn it into cobblestone, and with that we can then crush it and turn it into sand, and turn that sand into soul sand, all that fun stuff. So we're not entirely sure where we're going to do the kill chamber for the wither itself, or for the wither skeletons for that matter. These guys will probably teleport down to us and have most of the main storage for everything down there. The actual wither itself, we're probably going to need to spawn up in the roof. But I think we've got kind of the ideas of what we need. We just need to actually figure out where to build it and how to implement everything. And as a quick example, I just removed the mega torch that was off to the side here, and you can see it is already spawning plenty of wither skeletons. In fact, this is honestly probably enough to get a beacon right here. But right now, I'm gonna go despawn these by flying away. It looks like there's a few areas we'll need to figure out a little bit tighter spawn blocking, but we can see it is definitely very effective at spawning these guys. We need a way to deal with them. So step one, since we have the wither skeletons already, is we need to get ourselves a kill chamber. So we've got 23 block drop here. I don't know if Xacris set any warp scrolls there or not. It's looks like he's counting. Here. Or not. So Xacris is blocking that off, so we have the actual kill height there, so they can come down here. We don't really need anything special down below here. There's plenty of room. There's only one bedrock blocking here, and if needed, we can get rid of that. Main thing is the actual way we're going to kill this. So, a couple options. One is manually. So you're with the sword, go swing, swing, swing. That's boring and manual. So that's no. I got a bunch of spell turrets over here, if this will open. There we go. Have some enchanted spell turrets, as well as some regular, just makes it a little bit cheaper. The ideal thing to use here actually would be a, if I go to at elemental, the Ars Elemental mod here has these infused turrets. So an air infused turret basically simulates having an air focus. An air focus, what it does for you is it, with the cut spell, will, where are you going? It'll basically give you improved chances to get head drops out of things. So that'll work for any mob as well, but specifically here, of course, is wither skeletons. So let's just set up kind of a basic thing. If we do something like that, probably not facing us, to the side, there we go. What we can do then is just whenever there's anything on here, trigger a timer to just start casting. Alrighty, we have ourselves a little bit of a setup here. Xacris did end up making some air turrets, so we are going to use a bit of elemental in this. Basically, it's just going to improve our rates. Air infused turret. It does require a greater focus of air, which requires a mark of mastery, which requires a whole bunch of stuff here, and a wilden tribute. So not exactly early game. Do we want luck on this? Sure. I'm going to go ahead and get work on storage here. So my thought is we're going to use some repositories, and I'm going to, that is not a break spell, that is a leap spell. I'm just going to do like this, and we'll just have 6 repositories for now. We can go ahead and decide if we want to improve that later, but I think, I said 6, I meant 12. But I think this will be plenty of storage, and we can always void things later if needed. Cool. I'm just going to plop these on. Cool. And did I happen to bring any bookworms? No, I didn't. Okay. Each bookworm adds up to, well, currently 8 storages. So 3 bookworms on here gets us plenty more than we need. Oh, I thought he was meaning my bookworms. Yeah, we have some test subjects here. Oh yeah, that's right. They're too tall to stand in here. Perfect. That works out well. I'm going to go ahead and link these up from here to here. Cool. From you to you, from you to you. I do wish there was an easier way of connecting these. Unfortunately, at the moment there's not, but this will work. So I'm going to link these. I need to give him another lectern next to the turret, and we're going to just link it as a satellite. So basically this is going to be the primary, and then we can add another lectern over here. Oh, he's got one ready. Did he already? Okay. Cool. We're gonna start collecting. I'm gonna grab this one actually and pop it in right here. All right, automation's done. Basically. Actually, yeah, let's go break that and let's see what happens. Now the roof there is 24 blocks, so even anywhere in here, it's still able to be spawned, which is pretty good. Now, is that casting yet? Or we don't actually have a timer on this yet, do we? Anyway, so let's see. There's not a button here. Do I have anything to make a button on me? I thought I grabbed archwood. Here we go. One of you will work. Or he's just killing it. Okay, that works. I was gonna quickly make a button just to try. Put you right there. Press the button. That is touch, burst, AoE, cut, luck 6. Basically, they're down to 1 health because of how far they have to fall here. And then a cut spell is going to do very little damage, but it's enough to kill him. And then luck 6 is plenty more than we need. And currently there is nothing in here. Is this linked up to anything yet? I don't think this is linked. From you to you. Where are the skeletons? Alright, we are in business. So I threw a couple filters on here. If there is an item filter with nothing in it, it does not differentiate things, so everything just ending up in this first repository that I used. But now that we have everything here, it looks like with the filtering, it basically doesn't care. So the different damage values and such, we can just go ahead and immediately void all of our stone swords, because we obviously don't need them. They're just going to build up over here. It's also going to work as an XP farm. Need to figure out what to do about that. We are going to be generating a whole ton of source here because the Vitalic source links will all pick up the kills. Basically, it's like 6 kills is enough to maximize 1 source link before its buffer fills up. So this is not using anywhere near the amount of source that it takes. So it's going to generate a lot more than it takes to cast. These are all at 1 heart. Cool. He's setting up some filtering over there. Perfect. And this is basically working. Hello there. That's going to be a problem. Backpacks, they have extra health, so that may not kill him quickly enough. Yeah, that's right. Cool, that works. Alright, well that is set up. Next up, we need to figure out how to basically control this, whether it's on or off. So we have some redstone relays here. They basically, the little arm here indicates the input, and any other side is an output. So I'm trying to think, if I were to do something like, this won't work actually at the moment because I need a different block there. So let's go ahead, break that. If I were to grab a repository on me, yes, we do. Perfect. This should be considered solid. And if I were to take a block and power it, so if I go with, so basically if I hard power, I want it to be powering the turrets on either side there. Currently there's no source here, so that's going to be an issue, but whatever, we'll figure that out. Redstone in is not going to hard power it, but if we do like a repeater into it, that should be considered hard power. So let's put you there, and let's grab a repeater from Xacris' redstone box here. Repeater, thank you. I wish when I scrolled it would put it into the hotbar. Okay, so if I go up here, in like that, that should hard power the repository. It being solid should then power the 2 turrets. And my hope is basically if there is a block in front of it, then it will place the torch. Or if there's a block, it'll break. If there isn't a block, it'll pick it up. If I put the button here, does that work? Yes, so that placed it. And if I do it again, it stays placed because it breaks it, puts it in, and then immediately places it again. Okay. So that doesn't work. Let me think about this. Alrighty, instead we've got a flip-flop, so when it gets a signal, it's going to push the redstone back and forth. This one gets projectile place block. It'll go through the prism, go over here, hit this block, and place it. And let's go ahead and get our touch, break, and pick up. Call you break, and put you back on this guy right here. There we go. So first trigger here is not going to do much. Let's grab a redstone spell. Let's do ray and redstone, redstone, redstone. Where are you? He just triggered it. Whatever. Couple duration down gets us a single tick pulse, which is enough to flip that back and forth. Oh, right, source. So, with this, that tries placing, that breaks it, that places it, breaks it, places it. Perfect. And with that, what we can do then is we need to get a single tick pulse to get to this piston. So that will be, we can do a monostable with another sticky piston. Ideally though, actually, you know what we can do? We can just use the redstone relay with a lever then down below, so it's just a solid on or off. Perfect. So let's put, if I put you here, that's probably not enough space. Is this hard power? I'm assuming no, I'm assuming it's soft power. If it's soft power, then it won't go through the block here. So we're going to need to move this over one block, I think. So move you to right there. Grab this out of that. I don't have a sticky piston, which he probably does, so he'll probably have this placed before I get back. Cool, and sticky piston going right here with a block on top of it, like so. So, if we do that, just for sanity's sake, let's check to make sure that this actually works. Grab our wand, go from this one to setting to one location. He already did that. Okay, and a lever right here. Pop you on. Turns on. Turns off. Does that work all the way? Yeah, exit. Lever should work. Oh, right, because it's only going to send a pulse. We need a rising edge. Because we need to trigger on both. We need a rising and falling edge. And this is just a rising edge monostable, where basically as it turns on, it powers it once real quick, and then not again. So it turns it off, and that doesn't actually do anything, so it needs to be flipped each time. So yeah, a button. From you to you. Perfect. Now if I trigger it, turns light off, turns light on. Perfect. Cool. And for our triggering down here, what we've got is a calibrated skulk sensor. Signal 7 going into it is for mobs taking damage, or just any damage taking. So if he were to punch me right now, it would also trigger. Yeah, so basically when they fall down, it says, hey, I took damage, triggers the skulk sensor, it makes a fire. In the event that it doesn't work and we need to clear something out, we also have this nice little flush button here, which is basically just powering a target block next to our turret, and it just works. Real simple. Now, I need to actually hook up the redstone up here to be something down below with ideally an indicator. So for now, we're going to turn you like that. And let's see where we want this to go. While we are buttoning up this area, which is basically just to spawn protect the areas close to us, we have a couple mega torches on all of the four corners, which goes right up to the edge of the actual spawning area itself. But this area down here, which is between here, so basically the farm's there, so mega torch isn't blocking this during normal operation. These areas are still spawnable because they're further from the player than 24 blocks. So we're going along buttoning up all of this stuff just to increase our spawn rates even further, which of course is not necessary. We've got, I think, around 200 skulls at this point. Not a big problem. But I did want to come over here and point out one thing. Due to whatever world gen mods we have, yeah, we have a wither skeleton spawner here, but it's disabled because we don't like it. It's not as interesting. So we're going to just pretend that it doesn't exist. It's going to sit there. We may carry on it somewhere later just to move it out of the way without breaking it. But yeah, we're going through, like I said, just buttoning up everything. I think this area doesn't need it, because that should be outside of the spawn area, so that's fine. He's getting over here. Get these spots. You missed some, Xacris. So let's go ahead. That is all good. Now let's go ahead, pop down, and we've got a very simple circuit behind here, which is just kind of if the light is on, then it means it's spawning. So light on, farm on. So let's go ahead, push the button, light turns on. It's probably not going to spawn too much because Xacris is up there right now. Yeah, he's up there. That's not going to actually do anything. We'll turn that off for now. Yes. One problem that we need to work out. Right now this is at 37%. This one's at 2%. And basically the problem is when there's only one down here, it's not going to produce enough source per kill to make up for the cost of the spell. It is a Fortune 4 spell, I think, or maybe 6 or something. Yeah. So if there's a lot of things down here, it is source positive. At least for right now. We may end up augmenting this. We've got a whole bunch of stuff we can do. I mean, we can burn this coal. The coal isn't even used for anything. 200 skulls, 600 coal, 1700 withered bone, which I don't actually know what those are for. But yeah, we may end up having to burn that just to keep everything source positive for especially the problem is the backpack mobs. Basically, if they come down here and they start playing music or something, what will happen is because the turret only does a single point of damage each time, it just keeps wasting source. So it's going to end up taking a lot of damage and basically just wasting source with every single shot, unless there's other mobs down here to die. So that is a potential problem with this system. We may end up changing the config to just simply not spawn the backpack mobs anymore. Really, there's only like 4 or 5 people on at any point. Well, there's only about 4 or 5 people still playing, I should say. So there isn't too much of a need for that. We each have, I think, a chest or so of backpacks, so it's not something that we really need at the moment. Yeah, see this guy here? He's got extra health, fire resistance, health boost. He's got lots of different things going on. Strength. Sometimes he'll have regular resistance, which makes him basically just never die. And it just kind of sits here, doing a tiny tick of damage each time. So yeah, those guys do end up draining our source. That's a problem. But I think for the most part this is working. Well, I've been offline for a few days, and there has been some progress made. We've got ourselves our farm. Withers appear here, and they fall down. We actually have a nice little switch that will just toggle up there. It toggles on and off the Megatorch. So it is working successfully. It sounds like we have Skulk somewhere as well. Oh, wait, no, that's the trigger in here. So basically, it's going to keep firing whether when they basically land here. So and they fall down, take damage, then that triggers it to trigger them to actually get killed. That is working quite effectively. If we look in here, we have, yes, 5,290 wither skeleton skulls. So we've not really been like specifically AFKing here. It's just while working on it, yeah, it's quite productive. Over here, we've cleared out some area and done a little bit of decorating as well. And we've got Xacris put in a quick little amethyst to conjuration catalyst, or conjuration essence, sorry, factory, basically, as it appears. Yep, we'll actually watch one here. Cool. So basically we have Amethyst Golem, who's currently over here. Go back over there. Thank you. You have a job to do. He's basically gathering it up. It'll go into storage here. I think it's just going straight into the storage lectern. I didn't actually see where these guys are linked. That will get pulled into the imbuement chamber when it is empty, which that will be empty when it turns into a source gem. a starbuncle pulls it out, puts it into storage. And similarly over here, the source gem gets pulled from storage, put in here. When this turns into an essence, it gets pulled in. So pretty simple setup. I've done similar ones in the past with more than one essence. So when you have lots of different essences, lots of different chambers, you'll probably need a different arrangement of starbuncles here, but it's working. Oh, I didn't mean to actually take that out. Go back in. Thanks. Anyway, over here, we have, once it catches up there, as you can see from the sign here, kind of labeling for where we want to put things, sand and souls. Well, right here, we have a simple cobble gen. I threw this one together off camera. I wasn't, unfortunately, able to record at the time, but we've got two different things here. We have a turret down below, casting touch freeze, and a turret up above, casting 3x3 break. And currently is based off of this display case. So if we go in here and we take all of our cobblestone out, we can see this in action. It's just a single lava source up above there that's flowing down. And every 5 seconds, this will cast freeze. When it freezes, you can see behind there, there is a repeater. Go a little bit closer, repeater right there. So basically when it freezes, it always freezes in the same pattern. When it does that, it allows it to complete the circuit between the repeater over there to power this break turret. So this one doesn't need to be a timer. I could switch it to being an enchanted turret, of course, but I'm not going to really bother. Let's put our cobblestone back in here, which will then trigger this to be back on, which will then pause our turret down below. Okay, so the next thing, since we have our cobblestone being generated here, cobblestone's not what we need, soul sand is. So in order to make soul sand, first off, we need to get some sand. To get sand, we need to get gravel. So what I'm setting up here is we have two different setups. One is going to be taking our cobblestone, crushing it into gravel. The other one is going to be taking our gravel and crushing it into sand. So we have ourselves a turret faced up, and you'll notice this is going to be very similar to our smelter and crusher that we have back at our base. It's going to be a little different because the circuitry is going to be much easier. Namely, there's our circuit. That's it. Yeah, cool. We're done. No, just kidding. So we have a few things we need to do. First off, we do need to actually link everything together. I'm not going to link this one yet, because this is going to then link to our main storage, and I don't want this to start firing stuff until I'm actually ready. So we're not going to link that one yet. These display cases, they'll actually... No, let's do that. So if I recall correctly, I go from there to here, so you are then monitoring that. Similarly, this one to that one. Cool. And might as well do that over here too. You to you, you to you. Perfect. Display case is now monitoring our lecterns, and there's nothing to monitor yet. Next up, we're going to stick a item frame there. Perfect. We don't have any gravel yet. We'll have to actually make that. But if we go over here, we want this to fire when we have more than a stack of cobblestone. Cool. And we want it to fire when there is less than, let's say, 256 gravel. Again, I don't actually have gravel yet. No. Why did I look in there? I know it's not going to be in there. Okay, so in order for this to work, we need two things. We need a pickup rune, which I'm just going to use this one here. Touch rune, if I can remember what it looks like. Rune and pickup. I'll call you pickup. Cool. Create. And we're going to plop that on top of our turret here. I said on top of the turret. One there. Odd. You are not supposed to actually get that. We're going to break you. Yeah. For right now, let's do this on top of a block. Because otherwise it applies it to the turret as well when I'm placing it, which is not what I want. So we're just going to skip this part for now. We'll come back and place those later. And let's place our rune right there. Cool. Next up, we of course need to make this permanent. Otherwise I'm going to trigger it very shortly here. And on top of that, we will need 2 more runes. So we're going to go with touch, and I'm going to do this a little differently here. Crush, and I need sensitive on this. Regular crush will just break the entity because crush is a damage spell. If you damage an entity, then it kills it. So touch crush sensitive tells it, no, actually I want you to affect the block itself. So then we need a whole bunch of pierce. The way I have this here, you'll notice there's no rune. So we'll deal with that in a second. If I had the more than 10 glyph spells, which I do, I could do this that way where I have 17 different pierces. For right now, or 15. Right now I'm just going to do 7 pierces, like that. Create, we're going to call you Crush. Crush. And this one I want to place on top of these. In fact, I need to place 2 of them. So we'll do one there. Right, can't actually place it because that is not a rune spell, which is what I was just saying. What we're going to do is place that pickup rune like that. Make those both permanent so I don't break them. And do we have a scribe table around here anywhere? It looks like no. I have one at my base. So let's head here real quick, grab ourselves a scroll, parchment rather. I need to remember to actually bring a scribe table with me when I'm working on stuff. Place it down, and we're going to place this on that. So what that does is this allows us to just apply it to the rune itself. This is called pickup, isn't it? That's not what I wanted. Put you back, and let's do our crush spell. Thank you. Alright, now let's head back. I've got a stabilized scroll here. Hello there. You are going to be coming with us. Yes. Hello. Carry on. Thank you. Wonderful mod. And we're going to plop you down right here next to your friend. Do I have another jar on me? Not in that one. I think I put it in here, didn't I? Containment jar. Real quick. Hello there. Where did you go? You walked through again. Where are you? Did you go into Xacris' base? Yes, hello there. I said you're coming with me. And... nope, portal went away already. Okay, so, sorry, I'm wanting to capture these guys because they have some interesting trades, but it works best if you have them contained because then you can like kind of control where they are. Put you down, make our scroll again, pick you up. Okay, and now that we have a jar here, you can go in. Cool. Alright, back to what I was doing. Over here we have our crush spell, which is now in parchment form. Apply that to these guys, and same thing over here. So let's hop up, get our pickup rune, place it and place it, make it permanent. Click, please, thank you. And apply our crush to it. Perfect. That is now basically done. First though, we need to actually block everything in. So let's go ahead and grab some of our this block, maybe? Some of this block? Sure. We'll make it look pretty later, I think, but right now I just want this to be functional. So for right now, that is just block it up. And of course we still need our turret, so we'll get that in a second here. Spell turret. I had 2 timer turrets, didn't I? Turret, where'd you go? Right, there's 2 of them. Odd, interesting. We'll have to deal with that in a moment, but for right now, timer turret can go right there, and you are going to be simply right click, toss. Cool. You are going to be not arc projectile, but regular projectile, and toss. Very simple. Place you there, and let's bump you up to be 5 seconds. And now we can link this back. So we'll link from here back to our main storage. This now has access, and apparently now I have a timer turret sitting there. Oh, weird. Was it stored in it? That's weird. Let's grab our blocks here, because we do need to block this one in two. Like that. Yes. It's not doing anything because these are currently turning it off. We need to set those up. So what is our logic on these? We have cobblestone on this side and gravel there. As I said, we want it to only fire if we have more than a stack of cobblestone. So right click increases by 1, left click decreases. Sneak right click will increase by 8 and similarly decrease by 8 for left click. So let's go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, gets us a stack. You know what, let's do this at 128 as well. There we go, 128. And similarly on this side, since it's the same circuit, just kind of mirrored over there, we'll bump up to 128 on the gravel over here as well. Cool, that is no longer powered. This one is powered actually, so we actually need to flip this because right now it's emitting if we have more than 128. So let's right click with the wand here, which then flips it around to being less than 128. So since we flipped that with our Dominion wand to emitting if it's less than 128, over here we want this to basically be powered when we have enough. So emit when we are greater than is kind of how you can think of that. Let's set this to 256. 250. Stay out of my inventory, please. 256. Why did I go into my inventory? That's weird. There we go. Basically, that's going to be when we hit that amount, that's enough. Turn it off. We don't need to keep crushing. I don't need to keep thousands of things on hand here. That's already full. Nice. That says turned off. Oh, yes, it's turned off because the cobblestone is turned off, which means this guy here is going to kick on. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted is everything to be working in harmony. Over here, similar story. Emit at less than 128 gravel, so turn it off if we're low on what we need. And this one will bump it to 256 as well. There we go. And we can, of course, swap out our cobblestone for the turret that was sitting here. So you are right there, aimed up. And let's bump you to 5 second again. And you need to be tossed. Perfect. Grab you, and let's block this off. There we go. Okay, so basically what we have here, we're only going to see one going at a time because this guy over there is running. If we step back, we have cobblestone being generated. Cobblestone then turns into gravel when it's crushed. And when we have more than 2 stacks of gravel, the gravel will be pulled, except it's not because we forgot to link from you back to you. Now it should be working. There we go. That turns it into the sand. Sand gets picked up. Cool. And in addition to that, and basically the way this is working here is everything will land in the chest, and things that are in a chest next to a storage lectern on any of the 6 sides will get automatically pulled into it. So I didn't have to do any linking here. Just by proximity it works. We can also just dump everything in here. Might as well throw the cobble too. And another rack, why not? Everything else will be pulled into here. It goes a stack at a time, so not too bad. We've got lots of sand. Gravel is low, and cobble is low. So it's working. We now have ourselves a way of generating lots of sand. You'll also notice we have lots of ways of generating iron, gold, lapis, copper, diamonds even. Lots of extra stuff that, quite honestly, we don't need. And of course, we don't need sand, we need ourselves some soul sand. So let's go ahead, place down a cauldron here. And in order to do this, we are going to use Wixies, specifically a single Wixie. Pretty simple, it's basically place our cauldron, right click it with a Wixie charm, hello there, and we're going to place a pedestal next to you. Cool, that's it. We need a single soul sand to start this though. Do I have any? No, I don't, but I can make one. So let's grab our sand, loop it around, and this is the same recipe that we're going to have her make. Just going to be sand around a conjuration catalyst, or conjuration catalyst is from Botania, so I keep saying it that way. Place you here, and you should be good. Except you don't have any inventories. I'm not sure. That was weird. Why did my mouse do that? Lectern can go down right there, I suppose. And let's go ahead and link this up from you to you. Why not? She'll pull everything in. And while we're at it, we need ourselves an allay. Plop you right there. Allay in a jar. We'll just pick up anything as kind of like a vacuum hopper. So everything is just going to get pulled straight in. Do I want her to be like that? I don't really like you being hidden. I mean, it's quite effective. We should probably, actually, now that I think about this, get ourselves another display case. Is it in here? Yes. Thank you, Xacris, for the shulkers here that are very useful. Let's place you right in front and grab ourselves our soul sand, which I already had. And we will emit if we have more than, of course, the same as before. 128 is probably good. Cool. Store all this in here. We have 95, 103. I think we're going to end up with one batch extra because she's going to craft it. It's going to pop out, start pulling the next one. So that's probably fine. 127. Really? Oh, because the one was pulled out for the pedestal. And 135. Okay, maybe we'll get 2 extras. Right, because that's powering the cauldron, and we need to actually be powering the pedestal. So we also need to link you. Other way around. From you. From you. To you. Set you for soul sand. Okay. Bump you up to, like I said before, 128. That's powering the pedestal. She's no longer crafting. Perfect. There we go. Is that where I want it? Everything look good. Nice and flat against the wall. Can you turn around though? No? Okay. And with that, we now have 175 soul sand, 5,292 wither skeleton skulls. Farm's off, so it's not generating more right now. The next thing is... you can see there's Xacris talking about putting in the actual wither killing chamber. So I do want to go over the kind of mechanics that we're going to be using for that part. So in order to build an area for the wither room, there's things we can do. We can either, one, have it be part of the nether roof is one option. The other option, which is what we're going with, is to not do that. If I go here, we need ourselves a glyph of gravity. I'm pretty sure I don't have any anvils in storage. Yeah, I don't. Let's go ahead and make 2 of those real quick. Thank you. Pop those on, make ourselves a glyph of gravity. Now, something I had shown a few seasons back in the 119 with my desert city was gravity is an interesting spell. So if I pop over here real quick, we can see that we can make something to get things that we're normally not supposed to get. So I can show you with this because it's just grass. If I place a light right here and I hit this with a gravity spell, gravity, there we go, you'll see it drops it down and it hits the mage light and pops off. We can also do that with things that normally we would not be able to. I should mention that we do have a mod that's allowing us to make dirt paths right now. But you can do this with dirt path as well. And like so. Like so. It's a crush spell. It's not mine. There we go. So that'll get us dirt paths, which normally are unobtainable, except for we have a mod that uses these as a recipe, so it gives us a way to get that with silk. Now, what we're actually going to be using, however, is a block that very much is not supposed to be obtainable. And if I recall, right over... Is it down here? Where is it? Somewhere below Xacris' base. These are decorative. Someone built here. I'm not seeing it on the map, though. So around here somewhere is the Deep Dark, which is what I'm looking for and unable to find. But if we look deep enough in the Deep Dark, in the ancient city, there is a portal. Now it's called a portal. There isn't any actual portaling with it. Okay, I remember seeing it not far away. Was it over here? Tell you what, I'll be back when I find it. There's a ancient city that I want to get to. Let's get out of the snow first, though. Out. There we go. Let me go find it. Alright, well, we are in our ancient city here, and unfortunately, someone's already been here with this telltale cyan color. Xacris already came over here and grabbed all the portal blocks here. Normally, you can't actually get them, but like I said, with some gravity and some creativity, you can just kind of drop them onto it and pick them up. So, they're indestructible, which means withers can't break them. So, we've got ourselves a wither cage. Well, I just got back from work, just logged in, like literally just now, and Xacris has been hard at work with the wither disposal unit. Name pending, I haven't actually said that yet. Anyway, so right in here is a solid block of reinforced deep slate. This is the block that we were trying to get from the ancient city there, but someone already took it. Someone. Yeah, he already took it and put it over here. So this is just a solid block. And there was a, where was that warp? Over here. Ah, yeah, so basically in here, we'll be placing the actual blocks here. And as soon as it gets created, the wither will immediately teleport to over here, where its head will be nicely stuck in a block. So we're basically at the end game here. We've got, what are you? You are the killing thing, which is projectile burst, AoE. Heal, amplify 6. Heal does do damage to undead, and of course the wither is considered undead. So, question then is, where's the button? How do we start this whole fun thing? Do I just press the lever? This one triggers wither spawning, and that looks like a clock circuit, kind of. Comparator reads a signal, comes out. That's just a repeater, because it's not a clock, it's just an on. Never mind, that is a clock. Why is that a clock? 2 withers. Okay. And then this one over here is the kill. That's pretty effective. Only had the thing on for a little bit for the summoning, but that did get us 2 withers, which is pretty awesome. And honestly, it was only 2 because I only had this on for long enough for that. That is quite effective, and it looks like we have an allay here whose job is to... That is a lot of nether stars. Okay, we have 2 stacks of nether stars. How many heads do we have left? 5,361. That will last us for quite a while. So now if I just flip the switch... If I just flip the switch, is this going to break anything? He did do testing. We can actually see over here, it places down the... so it does a line of the soul sand. Line of soul sand, and then one here for an extra soul sand. And then it does a bunch of heads, I believe a tick later, yes. So basically, yeah, I'm going to have to turn this down in post. Basically, it just needs to have the delayed skulls there. And yeah, that's effective. Yeah, 3 stacks of stars. Not too shabby. Plus however many withers are left, which was probably quite a few. I turned that off, right? I did not turn that off. Yeah, I'm going to turn that off. That is a ton of withers. So, like you said, the soul sand is the main limiter. Makes sense. There's only one thing over here generating the soul sand. Soul sand is probably limited, if I had to guess, by the conjuration. Okay, we got 200 of those. We've got sand, so we've got plenty of that. It's just kind of slow. So I'm willing to bet that this over here is going to be the main actual bottleneck if we want to run this thing just kind of at a steady state, constant on. Source is probably a problem too, actually. But yeah, we have a farm. This is fully automatic. You just need to, right now, we need to figure out how to kind of throttle it so that everything can keep up. Source is going to be a limiter here. I don't recall if there is source going to the bottle or to there's not a source jar next to this. So this could be sped up here, but currently we still have 200 of those. So that's not a problem. Yeah, I think the main thing is probably going to be just getting all of our timings to be right, but everything's able to be run just kind of steady state. The wither skeletons, those can get killed plenty fast. That's not a limiter. This isn't a limiter here. We can keep summoning them as fast as we want. And since this uses burst over here for the kill method, yeah, it's going to always hit all of them, so you don't need to worry. Like a chaining spell will only hit 16 at a time, or I think it's 8 plus 8 per AoE. Burst AoE is going to be just a sphere. Anything in that sphere is going to get hit. So yeah, quite effective. So we are looking at optimizing right now and figuring out how we can improve the speed of, well, everything. So right now we've got our conjuration essence here, and what we're deciding to do is if I link from, to go this direction, you that way, that way, that way, that way. I think that's how it works. Basically my plan is I want to hook these up to the lectern. So should right click on you, right click on you. And then if I right click that, it should highlight those. Let me clear. Clear it out, okay. Store that one, link it to that one. There we go, connected inventory. Shift right click, right click. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna connect each of these. There's only 7 of them here, so one bookworm will happily cover it. Position set. Connect, and we're going to find out which one we missed because it says 6 connections. Yes, you. Okay, you get added. Clear it. You. To you. Okay, these 2. I need to remember these 2. So, clears out. Connect that one to that. You to you. There we go. 7 connected inventories. Perfect. Then we have a starbuncle here. Currently he's told to store in here. Now we're going to say we want to right click from this to you. Taking from there to you. There we go. Filled them all up quickly. And now we need to do that over here, which is going to take a little bit longer. Now the idea is basically that Mr. Amethyst Golem, he's going to be harvesting the amethyst, storing it into the storage lectern. Storage lectern is being pulled out to over here, only the amethyst. Next up, we'll need another starbuncle. Let's go ahead and plop you down. Let's grab our wand as well. Place you and shift right click with our wand to clear him. Your job is going to be taking from the storage lectern here and depositing into this storage lectern here, which currently is not bound up. So let me bind those right. Alrighty, we've got all of those set up. Next up, we need to take a source gem, put it over here, and that is now saying that source gems are a valid input. So we're going to take regular right click from you to you. Why are you shift? There we go. And then from you to here. Starbuncle will store items there. He's going to just run back and forth, which will take a little bit. And I think this is a job for this. Although admittedly, that's going to be just draining it. Kind of slow. Yeah, it's not ideal. Okay, let's try some things out. So I relinked them, moved them a little bit closer because I was a little slow. You are currently doing nothing. So if we say from you to you, from you to you. We'll store there. There we go. That, did I just wipe you? No. Okay, so that is filled those. Those are all filled up. That's fine. Other Starbuncle, where did you go? Right there. Hello there. Your job is going to be to take from this one. Thank you. Now, if I store it directly over here, it'll only do one at a time. If I have it stored into a chest, then it will potentially transfer all of them at once. It'll also give a backlog. That way I don't have to wait for a Starbuncle to be moving around. I'm going to try that and see if that works. If I take this one, pop it on top here, and instead move this to here, like so. If I say from you to you. Okay. That's all good. It stored a bunch over there. And then I can take our original Starbuncle, and we're going to take from you to you, and from you to you. I think that works. So in theory, this won't have really anything in it until I get a backlog, which will be a little bit, because these will produce about the same speed as over here. Each of these should cover 4, so I have 8 over here, I have 24 over here, which means that it's going to be producing an excess, which is exactly what I want. And I think this works. A little noisy, but I think this works. Just kidding, it doesn't work. Currently, he's thinking, hey, I need to put things in this chest, and you know what? I can grab things out of this lectern here, because that's what he was told to do in the first place. So that is not going to work. We're going to go ahead and clear you. Thank you. We're going to clear you as well. And you know what? We're going to actually move you guys out of the way a little bit so I can see a little bit clearer. There we go. Okay, let's see what we can do about this. And after a little bit of discussing and figuring out what we want to do here, we've got a system in place. We've reduced it down to one repository. Basically, the amethyst golem over there, whenever it's ready to harvest those, it will fill up this one here. Now, because this is directly next to a lectern, the lectern's going to automatically pull it in and try to deposit it in storage. Now, storage is only these 8 imbuement chambers, and right now you'll notice there's no room for amethyst to go, so it just kind of sits here. That's fine. Next up, we have one Starbuncle. We'll pull from the lectern here and deposit into the lectern on the side here, which has gems. So basically, it can only pull gems. Currently, there's 7 in here, and currently there are 24 spaces already filled up. Basically, just going to immediately transfer. That Starbuncle has only one job: take from one lectern, put in the other lectern. And then finally, the other Starbuncle, his job is to take the essence here, Conjuration Essence, out of this lectern and store it in this one, which is hooked up to our primary storage down here. So basically, we have 2 subnetworks in addition to our regular network. So this is hooked up to main, and then over here, this lectern is hooked up to these 24, and this lectern over here is hooked up to these 8 on this side, which works out pretty well. I like this. It's works pretty well. So far, the worm just kind of flies back and forth. Of course, this is just kind of a particle effect at that point. He doesn't actually transfer items, so we don't need to worry. In fact, if needed, we could, we could remove him. We're not going to, though, because I like things moving around. Over on this side, same story. We just have 3 because you get 8 per worm, so 3 times 8, because we have 3 high and 8, yeah. You'll notice the way we're doing the conjuration essence over here is we have our 3 pedestals are all in the back here. So basically that pedestal, this one, and that one allows for this column to work. And this pedestal, and this pedestal, behind the ones I'm pointing at here, is for these in the middle. So basically it just kind of repeats this pattern of the 3 items over and over and over. And that allows you to just have them all in a row. And it works out pretty nicely. And in an arrangement like this, we can go even more. In fact, if we wanted, we could do another row above there and get another 24 in here. But quite honestly, I think we're fine without it. If I look in here, where are we on essence? We've got 538, which is, it's working for us. once again, I just want to point out how crazy this system is. Right now we've got 473 stars in here, and it's just climbing. And it's worth noting, we're not even killing these on purpose right now. Like we weren't running this for a little bit, we did it at the end there just to kind of finish them off, but they were just dying on their own from just regular cramming damage, because they're all, stuck together like that, and if you have more than 25 of them, then they start taking damage on their own. And it's effective. This is definitely more stars than we actually need for any real project. We do have, I think it's called Ars Tinkers. Trinkets. New star with a T. And this does actually require quite a bit of nether stars if you really want to get into them. These various essences, all crystal, gold. Wait, where's the silver, iron? One of these requires essence, requires diamond, nether stars, that's the word. I don't remember which one it is, but yeah, we've definitely, we've got a system here. It's fully from the beginning. Everything is self-contained in this little box down here at the bottom of the nether. We've got our wither skeletons being killed. Skeleton skulls go into storage, which goes over here. Let's see, we've got our cobblestone to sand, or cobblestone to gravel to sand, which is then turned into soul sand. Soul sand, we're going to now produce 1024 of those, which is plenty. Over here, we produce that using this big system that we just finished building. All that to make the soul sand, which then comes over here, gets assembled, and we get ourselves a bunch of withers. So in case you wanted to build some, some beacons or something, this is a good way of doing this. This was a project that between Xacris, mostly Xacris, I will say, we got this done in, I would say, less than a week. I think we started this last weekend, and it's currently Wednesday. So yeah, this isn't that big of a project, all things considered. We hop into Cheaty Cam here, we can kind of see the overall scale. Basically, the starter was the wither skeleton farm here, which is just a bunch of wither roses and portals. Those go down into a drop shaft, comes down here to get most of the damage. It's overall a fairly small build for completely automated withers using really just Ars Nouveau and vanilla. We are using elemental for over here to actually do the killing with the cut to be able to get more skulls out of this. But quite honestly, I think even if we didn't have that, we would still have 1,000 or so wither skeleton skulls out of this, so I'm not too concerned about that being just for an efficiency gain. But overall, I'm quite happy with this project, and it has been a lot of fun building this, working with Xacris on and off camera as well as in and out of game. But we have gotten a lot done, and I am quite proud of this whole area. So I wanted to say, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.